Hello and welcome to this Docushare overview. Today I'll be taking you through the main features of Docushare 7, which is the latest and current version, which was released in September 2015. I'll be mainly showing you features of the web-based part of the application. However, Docushare is also available through Windows clients and also from the Android and iOS applications. This makes it available wherever you are, so you can access your collection and documents from any device. I will start by showing you Docushare 7's interface through the web. As you can see here, you have the ability to log in using a workgroup or a domain, depending on how you decide to configure Docushare. For this example, I'll be logging in using the workgroup. Once logged into Docushare, you are able to see a number of functions running on the top, a search bar at the very top of the screen, a number of images which will gradually repeat themselves across the screen. Down the left hand side is the collections, which will publish the folders which you have permission. So the user that I'm currently logged in as will only display the folders which I have permissions to. So these folders here, or collections as they're called in Docushare, will hold the information that you are able to access. Also running down the middle is a personal area called My Docushare, content rules management, which is the ability to set up content rules to manage documents, and also the ability to scan in from a work center. Then on the right hand side you have workspaces, which are collaboration areas to allow you to collaborate with other Docushare users, as well as wikis and web blogs. I will start by showing you My Docushare. My Docushare is a personal area for your documents and for links and for favourites, a number of different items. You can either access it from here or you can access it at the top of the screen. Once you're in there, you have a number of sections. You have an area where you can add URLs to websites. You have any workspaces and collaborations, as I explained earlier. Any collaborations that you are a part of will be listed here. Any folders will also be listed here, so anything that you have access to. There is a standard Docushare calendar, which is just generic and available to you, and you can add information in there. And you also have a personal trash can. The benefits of this is that you can actually retrieve documents that you may have deleted accidentally. So by simply selecting all, it will list off any documents that you've deleted. You can simply select these and restore them back. Also, within your My Docushare area, you have favourites listed down the right hand side. These are favourites to items that you've selected. So it may be folders, it may be searches that you've performed. If you click on these, it will take you straight to that location. My groups is any areas that you belong to or you're a member of. And tasks is any tasks that have been assigned to you through workflows. Then also running on the top, you will also have a direct link into My Tasks. You will have a direct link into Favourites, which is here. You also have Quick Search and Recent. I'll come to the search functionality in a minute. And Recent just list for you maybe any items that you've queried previously. The next area on the left hand side here is your collections. As I explained, these are folders which hold any information and documents that you might have. So when you go into the demo area in this particular case, you will see in there any files and folders that are under those folders. You then have some drop down boxes on the top on the left hand side that allow you to action within this folder, within this collection. So if I select this document here, I have options such as the ability to change location, so I can move that document to another location, change owner, so I can associate that to someone else. I can copy it within this window and paste it to another location. Similarly, I can do the same with cutting, and I can also delete the document. I can rename it, I can route it, which is part of workflows, which I will demonstrate slightly shortly. Email, the ability to be able to email, so I can basically select the document I want to email, I can put in who I want to send it to, subject, body, etc., and then I have the options to send as a link or send as an attachment. I also have the ability in there to print, and there is the ability to print to a Docushare enabled device. I can also, from here, I can add calendars, another collection, so another folder within this collection. I can add a discussion, I can upload a new document, or I can set customized areas that I want to upload as well. I can add a URL, a web blog, and a wiki. Over on the right hand side here, running from right to left, you will see the name of the document, any metadata that this document has attached to it, who the owner is, the date that it was modified, the size of that, and then you have a number of options over here which you can select. This one here is properties, which I'll go to in a second. Favorites, as I mentioned earlier, you can click this button here, and this allows you to turn favorites on and turn them off. And then you have a number of options that run down here, and I'll take you through these. So if we move into the properties of the document, within the document here you can see a more in-depth overview of that document. So as I mentioned, description and keywords, these are metadata fields and can be populated using a scanning program, or you can enter those in when you actually upload a document for the first time. There is also other things such if you set an expiration date, when it was modified. If you hover over any of the fields within Docushare, it will actually explain to you a little bit more information. It also has in here the author, the client name. This is a customized field that we added, and you can add more of those, as many as you like. Copied from, last synchronized, number of versions, so you can set the number of versions of this document that you want before it overwrites, and obviously where it appears. Now the great thing about Docushare is there is only ever one copy of that document within it, but you can have a link to that document appear in multiple collections. So when you delete the last link to that document, the document will become orphaned, and obviously you can recover that back, but it will display here how many locations that document appears. You can obviously edit this information by clicking on edit, so you can re-enter or you can update information in here. Permissions is fairly self-explanatory. This really lists who has access to this document. Docushare works off three areas: a reader, a writer, and a manager. A manager is able to edit the associations of this document, and a reader and writer is fairly self-explanatory. Content rules, I'll come to in a little bit shortly. Notifications, you have the ability here to create notifications. So whenever that document is edited or changed or moved or actioned, it can notify a number of people. Locations, as I mentioned before, this particular document is only located in one area. I have the ability to be able to add other locations for this document. But as mentioned, it will only reside physically in one area, but it will have references to different collections. Version history, you can list here all the different versions of the document. As I said, you can set the number of versions you want to have, and then every time you upload a new document, it will keep those versions until it reaches the total amount of versions and then overwrite from there on. Comments, you can add more. You can add comments to documents which are searchable. Routing, again, I'll come back to as part of content rules. And change history, which for compliancy purposes is a great way of keeping tracking and history of any document. So in this example here, if I hit on go, I can list off when this was accessed and by whom. So I now return to the area I was in before. Just wanted to show you the other functions in here as well. So within here you have the ability to download a document. You can upload a new version, which I'll show you. So this basically allows you to put any comments in there. You can choose the file you want to upload, and then you can choose to unlock the document if that's something that you have checked out previously. You can also add a comment, as I mentioned. You can delete the document. You can change permissions, set up notification, content rules, and unlock. Every time you open a document from Docushare, it'll automatically lock the document. This makes sure that it's exclusively in use by yourself. You can choose to unlock it as well, or you can choose to unlock it when you check that document back in. You can also view the properties of the document and view it in an HTML format. So this gives you an overview of the documents itself. I just wanted to show you the search capability. So this allows you to search within Docushare. You have a function at the top to better search very generically and in a basic form. So if I type in, for example, the word invoice, it'll automatically bring up anything in there that relates to that word invoice. Now that can be metadata, which is listed here, but it can also be, if you've OCR the document, it will find that word invoice within the OCR document as well. This may be too basic for you, so you can hit the advanced button, and within here you have the ability to search for text words, things like date range. You can also go off a numeric value, and also type of document, and also extension of document. What's really nice is you can, once you've searched for the document, you can save that as part of your favourites, and you can use that search again and again, updating its content each time. So referring back to the home page, as I mentioned before, you have the abilities to create collaboration areas or workspaces. In this example here, I've created one called Finance. Within this, you can create, as mentioned before, you can create discussion boards. You can also have a calendar in there that everyone uses that's specifically to this project or this department. And then in the case of providing discussions, you can create a discussions board, and then people can simply reply and put comments in there associated with that board. So this just gives you an area for collaborating. And then lastly, we come on to content rules management. This really here lists off all the content rules that are in place. Content rules, or routing, as is another area, is the ability to create workflows. So for example, you may want to create workflows for things like invoice approval or document approval. What I'll give you here is a quick overview of how that can be achieved. So you can create a content rule simply by filling in some, give it a name, a summary and a description. You can say when an event is triggered, what will happen to that document. So for example, one of the items within Docushare is lifecycle management. This gives the ability to be able to put a date and a time on a document, and for example, when that document hits a certain age time frame, you can trigger an event, for example, to archive that document or delete that document, purge that document, because it's at the end of its life. Let's say you keep it for 7 years for compliancy purposes. So in this case, I'm going to hit something added. I'll click next. I can then put in a title, a modified date, I hit next again here, and then this gives me a number of options then of things I can do. For example, I could trigger an event to send an email message, I could create a new version, I could delete a document, I could email the content to someone, but I can also do things like update an external database, I can move a document. So basically I have a number of options, and this is really effectively what we call a workflow. So I can create any of these and it will trigger these events and then create those. So one great example of this would be something like, for example, upload, waiting approval. So in this particular case, you would upload a document, select the document, apply. Now what will happen in this particular case is the document will be uploaded to the upload area, maybe by an admin person in the office. That document will automatically move to waiting approval. That will then trigger an event for whoever it needs to approve that document. So what I'll do is I'll go into my tasks. So in this particular case here, I've been asked to approve this document. So what I'll do is I'll click on my task. It will come up with this document here. It'll ask me, do I want to approve, disapprove? I can make a comment. I can download the document. Once that document is approved, there will be a workflow created to move that document into the approved folder. So as you can see here, this document has just been added into that area there. So this is an example of how you can create workflows to move documents around for an approval process. So this is a basic overview of the area within Docushare through the web-based portal. There is also, as I mentioned, the ability to use Docushare Drive, which basically sits down on the within your My Documents or your My Home on your computer. So listed down there, everything you see here will be exactly what you see in the web-based version. And within there, you can open up those documents exactly as you would from the web page. So it's a really nice way of providing users with something that they're very used to, so they can use those drives like they would a normal network drive within an organization. There is one area which I didn't show you finally, which is the ability to be able to drag and drop. So what I can basically do here is to basically drag a document in. Now I can either drag it in here and it will just upload the document automatically, or I can drag it in and it will ask me to populate some information when I'm dragging it in. So for example, I can add in some additional information, the metadata that we talked about earlier, and then what will happen is it will add that document in to the area here. So this is another nice feature that people like to use. So this really concludes the video. I hope it's answered all of the questions and given you a brief overview of Docushare. Many thanks.